Hello. Oh God, no, 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 no. There we go. Okay, so I've seen people do videos on this, but I've never actually played it myself. So, we'll see how this goes. Caitlin, did you try on your hoodie yet? Oh, thanks for the sub, Sin. How are you doing? 2 months, let's go. That was a good way to start the stream. I appreciate that. Thank you. I don't want it to be too dark. I hate making games too dark. Okay, just got home from work. Nice. That sounds like fun. Which I know it probably wasn't though, but... That just changed up to 7. I meant to put 8. Whatever. I don't think it really matters so much. Okay. Give me 1 sec. I'm so busy with work. Actually, we were supposed to play Borderlands. Life sucks. Haven't been streaming in a while either. Yeah. I definitely feel that. I now have a lot more time to stream. So I'm trying to make the most of it while I can. Okay, let's get... That's weird. Let's get started. I feel like I don't remember how to stream
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Excuse me.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee
Amazing,
number
mouse and keyboard.
427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Okay. So, hold on. Was the same Sonia or something? No, this is Stanley Parable. It gives me very much like Portal vibes. No, what? What? How long? Oh. Oh my god. I watch Futurama, I just don't know like it enough to quote it. There, it's you. That's you. That's you, by the way. You did that. Hi Long, how are you? And, well, I have work my ass off for 2 more weeks and I'll be moving to Illinois. That sounds fun. What are you moving to Illinois for? I forget. I'm sorry if I already asked this. Okay, this is basically like a game, if you guys don't know, which I'm sure all of you do know. It has a lot of different endings depending on what you do. So I think the first, like, little bit, I'm going to follow what the narrator tells me to do. Hold on, robot just said something really lame. Got homework to get done? That's so stupid. Robot said he's being lame and he can't join the stream tonight because he's got homework. What the fuck is homework? No one does homework anymore. So I think the first playthrough, tell him he's a loser. I just told him he can always put it on in the background that he was a loser. I didn't say he was a loser. You haven't asked yet, but my grandma isn't doing too well. I'm not sure how long she has it. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I hope something good happens and something good comes out of having to go there for a not so great reason. Okay, well, let's get started with this. Maybe. Whoa, I'm clicking things. Hold on. It said it was... True, hold on. Said it was controller. Which controller's right here? Why isn't my controller working? Let's try this again. How am I? I'm not doing too bad. Not doing too bad. How are you? Okay. I guess I'm not doing controller. Which is weird, because it literally says it fully supports... I don't know. I don't have time to do with it. We'll go old school. Okay. People don't take this that seriously. They just leave it like, well, call it a day. Well, you actually taking the time to check the clock, and I appreciate that. I don't even have any way of knowing if the times you're setting are correct. I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game to the screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. Dang, that's a lot of time. Go ahead, pick whatever time you want, even if it's not the correct time. You've earned it. Alright, let's get back to video game now. I want to use my controller. It's set up. Whatever. We'll figure it out. Just means I gotta change my stance. Gotta be in freaking mouse and keyboard mode. I'm never in mouse and keyboard mode because I don't play mouse and keyboard.
This is the story of a man named Stan.
Alright, we already went through that. Okay, so... oh, fuck.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh. Losers, I win? Why do you win? What'd you do? Wait, does this make me... what do you... I'm so confused. Oh, cause you... cause you...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright, I'm going to follow the instructions the first time. After that, I don't know what I'm gonna do. It depends on how I feel. That's bright.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Hold on, I'm reading these. The future was yesterday, tomorrow is now. Oh, jeez. I thought that said get Chris Brown, but it does not. Get Chris out of broom closet? This scares me. Okay. Oh, excuse me.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Okay. Don't listen to Caitlin. I'm going down. Okay. I never do this. I don't have a mouse and keyboard strat. And that's a wall.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay. Red room. I don't like the closing doors in there. Yeah, he's so busy, he never has time to play video games with me, is what he's saying right there. That's what I read from that paragraph. So how much of that 40 million do you get? Just totally asking, not curious at all. Your girl is unemployed now and lost her job.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
It wasn't because
he stepped into the newly opened passageway.
It's so dark in here. I can't see what newly open. Oh, holy crap! Is it dark? Hold on. There we got a sexy ass voice. I'm not gonna lie with you that. Can I like this sound. This is nice. This is nice. Okay, let's try that. That's a little better. Not much. That's a bright light. This is a bucket? No. I feel like if I find a bucket, I'm supposed to have a bucket. That's the one thing that I've gathered from here. This is creepy. I can't see anything. Do I... That's better. Still not great, but it's better. Do I... Am I gonna die if I do that? Oh, it's a... I thought it was like a deep hole, you know, that I was gonna die if I walked forward in. Nope, just an elevator and I'm just an idiot.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
I used to have to go in one of these elevators for this job that I did at a furniture store, and it was the creepiest thing ever. Much like this. It's very scary looking. It would do that too. It'd just break down halfway in the middle. So you'd hope you have your phone just in case it did break down while you're still in it. Had the interview pan out? I still haven't had
Stanley
it yet.
walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Nope, we're fine. We're following the instructions the first time. It's dark in here. This is a butt.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
It's up there. I have like Portal vibe. Like I just want to like go bloop, and then I could go up on that staircase, you know, or like go down there. What?
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers, the lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
I don't follow my X-Men. Sorry. I know Deadpool was an X-Men for like half a second, but...
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated
Fired.
to accept
Fired.
it blindly?
2 people? Oh, I go towards that red flash. Okay.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Have you ever seen the movie, A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? And the narrator? This guy reminds me of that narrator.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from
Is it
this
just me?
very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For
That's
he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Okay, that's great. Where are said controls? Oh, buttons? This is a button? What the hell is that? That looks scary. 5. I need 3. How many buttons are there? Can I go with it? With the, how do I? Alright, I'm just gonna go over here.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself? Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes.
Duh.
Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley?
No.
It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind.
I didn't
What a
mean
shame we
to.
have so
I
little
wanted
time
to follow
left
the
enjoy it.
instructions.
Mere moments
I
until
just,
the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is.
Oh god.
More time to talk about you,
Oh
about
god.
me, where we're
Oh
going,
god.
what all this means.
Oh, okay.
I barely know where
Okay.
to start.
Okay.
What's
Okay.
that?
I totally don't know why I
You'd like
did
to know
that.
where your
I totally don't know why I
co-workers
did that. I totally don't know why
A
I did
moment of
that.
solace before you're obliterated. All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway.
Oh.
I'll tell you exactly what happened.
Where
to
is
them.
3? Where
I
is
raised
3?
them.
Where is
I
3?
turned off the machine.
Where
I
is
set you free.
Where's 3?
Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times,
my God, 3.
I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp.
Oh god, 55 seconds.
I have to say this.
I totally meant to hit
This
off,
version
and I
of
don't know what I
events
was
has been
doing.
rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go.
I'm so scared.
I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go around will be even better.
Come on.
My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
I thought I got it all. I thought I got it
Oh,
all.
dear
I
me,
thought I
what's
got
the
it all.
matter,
Did I not
Stanley?
get it all?
Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now?
Yeah.
Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it on? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons. No, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble.
I made one
This is
mistake.
not a
I
challenge.
made
It's
one
a tragedy.
mistake.
You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle.
I'm gonna have a
30
freaking
seconds until
panic
a big
attack.
boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces.
Okay.
Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully?
I'm so
Another
scared.
choice.
I'm so scared. I don't know what to do.
It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
I meant to hit off. Okay, in my mind, I was like, Cameron, you're gonna hit off. And then my click happy ass hit on. My plan was to follow his instructions. And somehow there's a disconnect here. Okay, well, let's go do that
All of
again.
his co-workers were gone.
I
What
hate
could it
this
mean?
voice now. It scares the shit out
Stanley
of me.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yeah, let's go to the meeting room. Nothing else is gonna happen.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I wanna like actually finish the correct one first, and then go back through and.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might Oh no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I was just doing what he told me to do the first time. I'm here. Hello.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
2846, I think it
What
was.
could
But I'm not gonna do it
mean?
before he tells me because
Stanley
I'm scared.
wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk,
Oh.
pulling books off the shelf,
Oh.
looking behind paintings,
Oh.
desperate for clues to his situation.
Yeah, sure.
But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its
Keypad.
purpose be?
I'm so sorry.
In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
I don't really know. Because some, like, games like this make my brain hurt. In all the different, like, possible ways. So, what would make most sense for me is do, like, the main route and then go back and see what other ways you could do it. Well, yeah. I think that would be possible. Why, what would you do, or what would you think they would do? I'm going this way, right? Yeah, okay. I don't know, maybe they go step by step. Maybe they, like, get to this room, and they're like, okay, well, they can go left and right, and then we'll figure out the left path, and then once we're done with the left path, then we can go back and figure out the right. But I feel like that would be so hard. And it just sounds so confusing, though, because, like, okay, say you made the game until you came to the room with 2 doors, right? You could say, alright, we're gonna do the left path. But the left path could be, like, an hour-long thing. And then, once you do that, you have even different ways, like, different things that you can split off, different things that you can do, like pressing the on button or pressing the off button. That's still all in the left way. I just feel like that would take forever. I don't know, it just hurts my brain. I don't know how they would do that. I don't know what would be, like, the best way, or, like, I don't know.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? Here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert
I'm not even
its
gonna look down
terrible
button. I'm just gonna
over another.
Not even gonna. I didn't want to give myself the chance to accidentally hit the on button again. Now what?
Blackness, and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Probably not.
Yes.
Oh.
He had won.
Okay.
He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel.
Nice.
Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing.
Well, that's pretty.
Stanley stepped through the open door.
That's really pretty.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
That looks like your backyard. Oh, okay. I apparently beat the game. So that was just a regular ending. So now, we get to do whatever we want.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
What happens if you just do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again? Like, they gotta be like, bro, you gotta be tired of, like, listening to the
When
rules or
Stanley
something.
came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Do I take this door, or do I go straight? Because this is a really weird... Go straight? Okay, because I'm like, this is really weird. Because this may end up in a different place, but I would still be following the narrator. So I don't know. There's so many endings. It confuses me so much.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Nice. There's a lot of coffee cups around here. What'd that say? Do not jump from cargo lift while it is in motion. Will cause death. Penalty for misuse of cargo lift is $1,000. Penalty for jumping off cargo lift is $5,000. All right.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust
All right,
in
quick.
someone
Do I
else
stay
can
on
be
or do I jump
difficult,
off? Do I
but the
stay on or
fact
do I
is
jump
that
off?
the
There's a
story has
thingy down
been
there.
about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting,
Stay on, jump on. Stay on, jump
Stanley.
on. Stay on.
Someone
Okay.
you've
Okay. All
forgotten
right.
about.
Okay.
Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
For her. Who the hell is her?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I wonder if you die if you go down there. Alright, do I go through the door? Or do I see what's down there and jump down? Scooter's baby. Door. Okay. That's creepy. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't like it. I don't like it. Oh god, that scared shit out of me.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her.
What is this?
If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Do I unplug it or do I answer it? I don't even know if unplug it is an option, but I feel like it is. Do I unplug it or do I answer it? Answer it? Hello?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
I was gonna say, could she move? Because I don't like you being right there. This is a very tiny apartment. Holy shit.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Excuse me. Good morning. Plus M on your keyboard.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Has he, though?
But in his mind, in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures.
What if I don't press the button that
From
they're telling
behind
me
his
to? What if I
desk,
press a different
Stanley
button?
dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown.
Okay, if it asks me for a different button,
Fantastic
do I press the
discoveries
button
of
that they're
new
asking or
lands.
press a different button?
It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Do I press different? It doesn't do anything. Gotta go to eat. Bye. Have fun eating. I'll be here for a while. So long.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First,
I had to
he
press the
imagined
button. It
that
wouldn't let
one
me press
day
anything
while at
else.
work, he stepped up from his desk to
Where'd my
realize
TV
that
go?
all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Press O to spend time with the boys. Yeah, it doesn't do anything if I press anything else.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either.
Yep, that's
At
what I did.
last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room.
My apartment is
with
becoming my
monitors
office.
and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions.
I don't like it.
And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Stanley Parable. Thought I didn't have a loving wife. Why would I have kids?
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Buy a mannequin
But there
wife.
is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Okay, we're going to sleep now. Okay, I wonder what's gonna happen when I wake up.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Do I push it or do I not? Do I push it or do I not? Do I push it or do I not? I need to know, I need to know, I need to know. Do I do it? Do I do it? Do I do it? Do I not? Push it?
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How
Is
can I
this
make him
supposed to
look at
make you
himself?
not want to do a 9-to-5 office job in a cubicle?
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Please
And
die.
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Okay. So here's the real question now. Do I go through the left door and then go down the escape path? Or do I go through the right door and go either in that first left door that he told me to go to, or do I jump off of the lift? So there's 3 different ways that we could go right now. The left door with the escape path, the right door with either jumping off the lift or going through the left door instead of going straight. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Left in escape route. Right in the moving platform. Jump off. Or going left instead of going straight. Calm, are you still in here? You're my decision maker. Alright, you got 30 seconds. I'll make my own decision. Alright, I started with the left, so I'm gonna finish with the left. want to go down the escape route and see.
Yet
where
there
that
was not a
takes us.
single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
I'm not allowed in the broom closet anymore. That's stupid. Ooh,
Coming
or I
to
could
a
go
staircase,
downstairs.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I'm gonna do the escape route first.
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age
Oh my
music.
god, just open the door!
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Thanks.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Why is it gotta be a violent death?
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
No. No, I don't trust you.
At
I
this
think I'll
point,
be fine.
Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
That looks... scary. I'm so scared. Oh.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer
Oh.
to his demise,
Oh.
he reflected that his life had been
Oh.
of no consequence whatsoever.
Oh.
Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of
okay,
what this
okay,
world
okay.
is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind
Can
man.
you, like, do anything
So
once
he
this happens, or
resigned
you just
and willingly
fucked?
accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
No. No. No.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
I cheated death. I cheated death.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
That's a scary thought. So I've been dead this entire time? like this. Do I go right or do I go left? Guess stick with the left. This is like the making of this game. I don't like it. Warzone? This is stuff I haven't even gotten to yet. Am I supposed to see all this? Why is that counting down? Not picking up the phone would lead to a different ending. Why not? This is basically the storyboard. Calm, you were sitting there asking how they figured this out. There it is. It's still very confusing to me. I haven't gotten to any of these yet. Game is now paused. Escape menu.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see?
No.
Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
I can't see anything.
But
Oh.
listen to me.
Oh.
You can still save those two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game.
Do I do it? Do I do it? Do I do it? Do I do it?
Someone else's path.
Do I do it? Do I do it? Do I do
Your
it?
only true choice. Whatever you do.
No? Fuck, you're too slow. I was too scared. I was too scared.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building.
Should I go back and stay on the elevator or take a different path now? I feel like it was just gonna kill me anyway.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I think I want to go down the steps.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Now
Coming
we
to
go
a
down.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh, I don't like the red menacing light. Hate this. What's that?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He
He's
just
dead.
hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming!
Oh.
he
Yeah, he's
yelled.
dreaming.
This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field.
I don't like this.
And it too appeared. It
I
was
don't
so
like this.
much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
This game is so scary. It's like mentally scary.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Excuse me?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work.
Who's this?
But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
New content?
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
I don't know. Hey. This is very creepy. Hollow Knight stream when?
Hello, and thank you for playing The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, The Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
It's a horror game? It is considered a horror game, yes. And it has been very scary. It's basically a game with multiple endings, and you can either choose to follow the narrator, or you can go against him. So there's several different things, and each way you go, you get a different ending.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure. Is it broken? What's going on here?
I feel like this thing's just gonna fall.
Should we be moving somewhere or... oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
I feel like it's more like a psychological horror game.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
I was scared that it was gonna, like, fall, like, the floor was just gonna come out.
All right, let's see, it's the jump circle?
can't jump if I go outside of it. Do I use up all my jumps? Or do I leave and just walk away with jumps still left? Stay and jump. This is the new content. Is this what they're saying the new content is? That I get to jump? Okay. What if I go back in the circle? No? Okay. I didn't think that was gonna work anyway.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Yeah, if I were to just walk away, it would be a different ending.
Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is. That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Is this a different office?
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent. I want to show you something.
Do I go with the vent? Or do I go... Oh, I don't think I can go upstairs. Can I go? Oh, okay. Do I go in the vent or do I go upstairs? What's this? Sonnet? That's a creepy vent. Or a nice looking staircase. Vote? Yeah, vote. Yes from you, yes for what? Vent or staircase? Vent it is, alright. Oh, there's that. That's creepy.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
Yeah, that sounds scary.
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want.
This is pretty.
Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video
No, 'cause I
games
didn't
had
play it.
integrity. Back then,
Well, yeah, sure.
it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
That's creepy. Can I look through it? It's creepy. Is this not even his trophy? He just put his name on it? Nice. Firefox. Now I want to go play the first one. I want to go sit on the bench. There's just a piano over there.
suis dans la mémorisation, c'est sur la pluie des loups, et je n'attends.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Do I go down or do I go up? Down it is. Up it is. I had that wrench. Maybe if I was able to like pick up that wrench, it would have let me in there.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding
He's not even
choices
reading
I've
what's up there.
ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories. These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before.
Go what way?
What's this? What's down here? Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they? Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Umbrella Corporation.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure.
No.
Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Oh, I hate that. Oh, I hate it. Oh, I hate it. Woo.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence,
I just want to see how long he'll keep talking.
That's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this.
the story, and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once. So now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet. No, no, until 245. Got the logic of elimination working backwards. The deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture.
Oh,
it
maybe.
went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime.
Okay, I'm done.
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue for... Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption... Okay, welcome back, Stanley.
Yes, I
Now,
am.
I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes. Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times. And there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button, and if... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you... Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you
Jeez.
ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year?
No.
Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley.
Is he dead? Hello?
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic...
I wonder how long this
The
goes on for.
end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the
Eat some
end,
scoop
is never
snacks.
the end, is never 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 the end.
He's getting scary. Oh my. So is my body just standing here? I can't go anywhere else. Gary. Oh! Is the button going to come back? I don't think so. Interesting. Walking towards the sun. See what happens. Oh! Am I eating dog treats? In a sense, yes. I mean, it's Scooby snacks. So, in a way, I am. You don't have Scooby snacks? It's just like a graham cracker, but it's cinnamon. And it's shaped in the form of a... Well, this one's half now. Oh. Shaped in the form of a dog treat. I mean, it says Scooby on it. I should have just been like, yeah. You wanna eat these?
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
Do I go straight? Or do I go into the new content room again? Since there's new content. Come on, Calm. Which one? Do I go in the new content room, or do I go straight? I've been making the decisions for a while. New content. New. Alright. Whatever you say.
Oh, good. You notice my sign.
I did.
Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Sweet. We're doing it. I need to stop eating.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the
Wow.
ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions.
New computers?
This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Taste the sequel.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
That is true. He is stating the facts.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Jose is playing Star Wars. Ah, interesting. Those are big shades.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features. For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of
I
this
am
feature.
Jim.
Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
Jim.
I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim, watching your dreams crumble into dust.
Awesome.
Do you feel it deeply?
I do.
Are you really, truly Jim right now?
I am.
If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Jim.
Yes! You see? What a thrill! What a rush! That was you! The button described you. Do it again. Do it again.
Jim.
Oh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation. Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away.
No!
Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
Jim.
That was sad. You think you have everything that you need in life and it's just taken away.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would... An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it would go at the end of the... well, we'll figure that out later.
Oh my god, it's a bucket! I knew there was a bucket in here. I knew it was important. Infinite Hole, Settings World Champion. Free achievement. I like free achievements. Pull the lever, receive your achievement. I wanna do
Now,
it.
here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident?
Yeah.
Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple... Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist.
No, it
Right
exists
the
now.
achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel.
This
To at
is a
last
sequel.
satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
I'm so sad right now. So sad. I walked down here for nothing.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
We saw this.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as
Let's
well.
not.
It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle?
Yep.
Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
No, you don't. It's only 10 o'clock. Which means it's even earlier for you.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Ew.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
To the infinite hole. I don't know what this is.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration. like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy
Okay.
12th birthday, step-niece, it is. Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
Merch. Sign me up. I want that t-shirt. Right there. This t-shirt is the best new feature. There's a reinsurance bucket. Actually, no. I want to do the black hole first. This game is hilarious. One stream, I gotta go. No, you don't. Not allowed. You're just gonna make me sad.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Okay, I need to go get my bucket. Why are you lurking?
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
I now have to carry this bucket everywhere. Because that's just the rules of the game.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact,
Obviously.
can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person.
Nice.
The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more awaits you in the Stanley Parable 2. Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Alright, I went that way. I went that way. And did everything, I think. Oh, there's an exit. Where is the exit? This way?
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Mm-hmm.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
So is that going to be the new screensaver now?
This is the story of a man named...
Oh, dear God. How's Star Wars? Ow, I'm so sore from the gym. Oh my God. Ow. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Stupid-ass balloons.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
The
he had
bucket.
simply... Stanley picked up the bucket.
Yep.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Exhausted from 8 hours in the office and 4 hours of work events every day this week. So I'll play a little probably stream tomorrow. Nice. I've had way too much free time.
Still no one was here.
So I've been going
Stanley
to the gym
needed the
so I don't
bucket's
sleep
warmth
all
and
day.
comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket.
No!
You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
The animation is a little janky? What do you mean? Oh, of the game? Like the Star Wars game? Or this game?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Oh.
Crushed by the weight of this
Is it new?
revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
The bucket is very
Even
soothing,
now,
yes.
in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were
Nice.
inseparable.
So the graphics probably
At
won't get
this
fixed
point,
anytime
Stanley was
soon.
so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
I did.
Was it that the bucket knew all along?
Yep.
Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Obviously. Figurine!
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines.
That
Remember,
means nothing.
no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I
Sweet.
tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
That I will. As long as I still have my bucket. That's all I care about.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Somehow knowing that I have the bucket is actually making me calmer, which I think is so funny.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Which one? Now I'm forgetting. Maybe I wanted to go through the other one. But now I can't go back. Oh, no.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Stanley in the bucket.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that
Oh.
everything would be fine.
Everything will be okay, little buddy.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in
Pirate?
someone else's control.
Does the
Never!
bucket have his own?
He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over?
No.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth.
Okay.
Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and to... What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out. How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes?
By the
Days?
bucket?
Centuries?
I'm about to go get him again.
Did something crucial happen? Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
This is my bucket. I will pick him up every single time.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the car. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
I just want to see everything. I haven't gone down here yet.
No, stop. Look there on the wall, you see? There's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point." Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless... What if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly.
So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
It is. It's putting us into a dark room. Oh, dear God.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket.
Should I say
Okay,
that...
let's
Okay.
begin.
Should I be correct with my answers? Should I say that everything
Item
is a
one.
bucket? Or
Is
should I
this
say nothing is a
bucket?
bucket? What do I do? Or do I say everything that is a bucket, or do I say everything that isn't a bucket is a bucket? Or do I say that everything is a bucket, isn't a bucket? Do I just hit yes on everything, or do I hit no on everything? What do I do? What do I do? Everything is a bucket? Okay.
Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
This is so stupid.
Item 3. Is this a bucket? Correct.
Woo!
This is a bucket. Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Absolutely.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor.
No, it's
an
a bucket.
enormous machine that tills the earth. I
Nope.
thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one. Is this a bucket? Correct.
What?
This is a bucket.
Okay.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
No. Yes.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha. Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know
Everything
that
is
a
a
bucket
bucket.
is something. And therefore nothing could possibly be something.
Everything is
Unless,
nothing
in
and
your
everything is a
twisted
bucket.
mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing?
Absolutely.
Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing
Air can
is
be a bucket. For air. Exactly.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is?
Am
Am
I?
I a bucket?
Technically you are, yes.
Stanley, I can't keep
You're
doing
a bucket
this.
of blood
I'm losing myself, and myself
And
was
skin.
all I ever had to begin with.
and water.
I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game.
No, 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 no,
Here we
no,
go.
no, 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 no.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket.
Yeah,
Oh my God, I had no idea.
obviously.
How could... except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is
Oh,
wonderful.
Calm is still
We're
here.
not buckets.
Thanks for the dollar,
Yes,
Calm.
I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful.
I know it
to
was
get
you
some
because
clarity
it
on that
changed
issue,
the
but it
the
doesn't
top
change the
donation.
fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that.
I won't.
Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Buckets.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had the confusion and the chaos all seemed
Bucket,
to
bucket,
melt
bucket,
away
bucket, bucket.
as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly
Meow.
to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
It was the place to be.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was
Yep.
this better than the meeting room?
Yep.
Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was.
Mm-hmm.
How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Mm-hmm. You thought, game.
Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to them, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Never been over here.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before.
Don't you dare
Yes,
talk
I
about the
know
bucket
I'm
like
the one
that.
who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it.
No.
Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line?
No.
We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes,
No.
yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
No. Want the bucket. No. No. Bring me back up. I'm not getting rid of the bucket.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
It's terrifying.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
He's not taking my bucket. I refuse.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket.
No.
That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
No. No.
I think it'll make a wonderful new
No.
addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True,
No.
it also was not in the original game, but it's such
Get
a
me out.
well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to
me
me,
out.
it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
No.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does?
No.
Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready. Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait.
No.
Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now! The fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and... Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
I better still have my bucket.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Oh God, I gotta go
He
through this
looked
all
down
over
at the
again.
bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort.
What?
And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. Now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
Oh my God.
Could it truly be?
Oh my God.
He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley! Find me!
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly,
froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
God.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
I just wanted my bucket.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do. Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this. But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
That answers that.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room. No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room.
There's
go
a thing
somewhere
right
else.
here.
The cargo lift,
Mm,
yes.
there's one of
Go
those.
there. Go to the cargo lift.
How do you get over? I don't know how you get over there. There was like a door down there that I'd never seen before. Like an opening.
Good,
See, it's a
said the
walkway,
bucket.
and
Now
there's
ride the
opening
lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
There.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here. Stanley once again obeyed blindly. Now pick up the phone. Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone?
I didn't.
Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders?
No.
Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's
My
funny,
bucket
Stanley.
talks.
A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look. What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now. Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invaders who threaten our very existence and to very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
That took a dark turn.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So, with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
What if I don't want to?
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure.
The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke.
Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
I don't like this. I've never walked backwards before.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left. No, 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 no. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video?
No.
I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud? Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left. No, 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 no. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left. No, 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 no. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left. No, 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 no. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back.
Alright, I'm done.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No, no, no. What's going on? There was supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point. A dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the 2 doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my...
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not? Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame? Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal. I think I saw it playing guitar. No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos. Let's see.
This game is so weird. But I think I'm gonna call it for the night. I know from the videos that I've watched other people play this, I know that there are still more things. I'm not sure how many more, so I might look into that. But I know that once you get the bucket, there's supposed to be a label on it that says it's Stanley's bucket. So I know there's something that I haven't done yet to get to that point. So I'm going to be on tomorrow, probably a little earlier so I can stream a little longer because I'm tired already. And then we're going to see if there is anything else in this game. And we're going to finish it to the fullest and do whatever we can. But until then... Oh my god, it actually did change. It actually is this now. That's so weird. I wonder if when I, like, go back into the game, if it's going to be like this too. That's really weird. Okay, well, let's find someone to raid real quick to end the night off. Good night. Yeah, I'll definitely be here. Tomorrow and try and see what else we can get to. Oh, you still are in here, Calm. Oh, okay. Alright, let's see.
Thank you for the biddies, Big Dom. Thank you, Santa biddies. Wow.
See, yeah, the person I was just looking at, she's doing something way different than I've did, so there's definitely way more to this.
Just on loop. Wait, it's all...
Let's do... I like the first person that I saw.
Pepper, oh...
If I can find him again. So we're gonna go raid. I will be back on tomorrow. I hope everyone sticks around to go raid and say hi. And I will be back on tomorrow. Everybody have a great night, and I will see you guys then. Bye-bye.
Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh,